Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a rigorous clinical review of the botanical and pharmaceutical profile of cucurbita seed extracts, or, as your patients probably call them, pumpkin seeds. Look, if you've been fielding questions in your practice about natural therapeutics for urological or endocrine health, you've definitely encountered this botanical. Well, today we're cutting through the hype. We're going to look purely at the science. We'll map out the exact therapeutic mechanisms at play here, from their highly specific phytochemical density all the way down to the rigorous global supply chain standards that actually dictate their clinical efficacy. Okay, let's dive right into this. We're breaking this down into 4 key areas today. First up, botanical origin and agronomy. Second, key phytochemicals. Third, clinical applications. And lastly, extraction and supply purity. To truly grasp the clinical efficacy of any botanical medicine, we've got to understand its biological history first. So, Section 1, Botanical Origin and Agronomy. We're looking at the genetic evolution and cultivation dynamics of the cucurbita species. The cucurbita species has literally undergone a massive historical shift. Think about it. These seeds were domesticated almost 10,000 years ago in Mesoamerica, serving as a foundational survival food for ancient populations. But fast forward to the mid-19th century in the Styria region of Austria, and something incredible happens. A recessive genetic mutation emerges. And today, that exact mutation is the absolute bedrock of advanced nutraceutical extraction. Now, what's really fascinating here is the dramatic structural shift caused by that genetic mutation. You know standard pumpkin seeds, right? They feature that really tough, woody, fibrous, cream-colored outer hull, the testa. But the Styrian mutation, this so-called naked seed, emerges as a deep green velvet kernel wrapped in nothing but a thin silver pellicle. Clinically and economically, this is a real game changer. It completely bypasses the need for intensive, damaging mechanical dehulling. That means the delicate, bioactive oil matrix is instantly accessible for clean extraction processes. But growing this medicinal crop, it is incredibly exacting. The plants absolutely demand frost-free climates and soil temperatures exceeding 15 degrees Celsius just to achieve uniform germination. On top of that, fertile, well-draining sandy loam soil is absolutely mandatory to maximize the density of their medicinal phytochemicals. Oh, and they are notoriously sensitive to water stress during their flowering interval. For us as clinicians, it's absolutely crucial to know this. The concentration of the active ingredients you're recommending to patients is entirely dependent on these precise stress-inducing environmental variables. So that brings us right into Section 2, Key Phytochemicals. Let's dig into the clinical mechanisms of action of these active biocompounds. So the crucial point here is how each of these highly concentrated compounds targets very specific human pathways. Take delta-7 sterols, specifically spinosterol. They competitively bind to 5-alpha reductase enzymes, which, as we know, is foundational for treating benign prostatic hyperplasia. Then we have L-tryptophan, an essential amino acid driving serotonin and melatonin synthesis. And finally, cucurbitacin. This is a triterpenoid bitter compound localized right in the seed coat, and it exhibits potent anthelmintic or antiparasitic properties. In clinical frameworks, it literally paralyzes intestinal parasites like tapeworms to facilitate their natural elimination. Incredible, right? Now wrap your head around this metric, 100. Just 100 grams of these premium seeds provides roughly 100% of the daily value of elemental zinc and magnesium. In clinical practice, a high-density mineral profile like this is just phenomenal. The zinc is driving spermatogenesis and optimizing cellular immune pathways, while the magnesium is crucial for stabilizing cardiac rhythm, relaxing vascular muscles, and regulating systemic blood pressure. Okay, let's take all this dense biochemistry and apply it directly to patient outcomes. Section 3, Clinical Applications. We're focusing on endocrine, urological, and metabolic pathways. For aging male patients, benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, is a massive quality of life issue. The specific phytosterols in these seeds, primarily spinasterol, competitively bind to the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. This prevents the conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. And what's absolutely brilliant for your patient counseling here is that it prevents prostate cell hyperproliferation right at the receptor level. You get the targeted action without causing those broader, highly disruptive hormonal imbalances that we so often see with synthetic medications. Let's move along and see how this builds for sleep and neurological modulation. When you're counseling patients managing mild insomnia or anxiety states, you can absolutely recommend pumpkin seeds for their rich L-tryptophan content. But here's the clinical trick. Instruct the patient to ingest the seeds alongside a small, simple carbohydrate source. This creates a slight insulin spike, which clears competing amino acids from the bloodstream. That allows the seed-derived L-tryptophan to effortlessly cross the blood-brain barrier. Once across, it synthesizes into serotonin, which then converts into melatonin, naturally regulating the whole sleep-wake cycle. The seed oil matrix is also deeply beneficial for cardiovascular health. We're talking packed with essential oleic and linoleic fatty acids. Regular, long-term patient supplementation lowers systemic low-density lipoprotein, or LDL metrics, but crucially, it also increases nitric oxide production. And as you know, that is what relaxes the vascular muscles, significantly improving systemic vascular wall flexibility and easing overall blood pressure. Now, you can know the biochemistry perfectly, but if the supply chain is compromised, well, the clinical product is useless. Let's jump into Section 4, Extraction and Supply Purity. We'll be looking at quality control in global pharmaceutical markets. I want you to really consider this. How do specific extraction methods affect the preservation of these delicate bioactive compounds? Think about it. If a patient just grabs standard seed oil off a local supermarket shelf, are they actually getting the therapeutic BPH benefits we just went over? More often than not, the answer is a flat no. To understand why, we have to contrast the massive industrial scale of white-skin seed processing, which is primarily centered in Chinese regions like Inner Mongolia, with premium Austrian supercritical carbon dioxide extraction. You see, industrial mechanical dehulling and traditional high-heat pressing often cause thermal degradation of the oil's medicinal compounds. For true pharmaceutical-grade seed oil capsules, clean supercritical CO2 extraction is absolutely preferred. Why? Because it completely avoids thermal damage and perfectly preserves the integrity of that delicate bioactive oil matrix. The global market macroeconomics reflect this divide perfectly. China is the absolute volume titan here, supplying roughly 60% of the global supply of snack-grade white-skin pepitas. Mexico also maintains a robust regional trade for traditional roasted seeds, but neither of these represents the clinical-grade oil pipeline. That comes almost exclusively from the luxury, high-value Styrian oil market in Austria, which is specifically cultivated for nutraceutical encapsulation. And this brilliantly illustrates how we verify that quality. PGI, or Protected Geographical Indication. This is a highly strict European Union certification. For clinicians, PGI status really acts as the ultimate benchmark. It guarantees that the luxury Austrian Styrian oil is authentically derived from the Hullus mutation, grown in the correct regional sandy loam soil, and processed without any adulteration. Put simply, it is your absolute guarantee of medicinal oil purity. Which leaves us with this provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. As the global trade in natural supplements continues its rapid expansion, how will you, as a clinician, ensure the biochemical integrity of the therapeutics you recommend to your patients? Understanding the profound difference between an industrially processed snack seed and a PGI-certified supercritical CO2 extracted botanical medicine is the first vital step in standardized patient care. Thanks so much for joining us on this clinical deep dive today.